Hey guys, what's happening? It's time for Shokugeki no Soma, chapter 131. Now this chapter was pretty crazy because we got some certain drops, information drops especially, and once again Rindo confirming what I was saying about um, Soma not winning the total, which is what actually Soma was going for, but ultimately, I don't know. Ultimately, I think, uh, he did win at least one day, which does in fact set back Kuga because obviously, as we know from reading the chapter, he wanted to face I forget his name. I think it's like Aishi, right? But they wanted to face him again, and basically the stipulation was if he could win all 5 days, he gets it, which he could not because he lost the fourth day. And so I'm liking Rindo already. She didn't really show much when she first appeared, but I kind of like her now, so whatever. She's a pretty interesting character so far. So yeah, let's move on a little bit. The cover page was good, and shit. And the other color page with Rindo was really good. Uh, Kuga obviously being mad. Obviously, he was very close to winning, but you know, couldn't get that. You know what this reminds me of? Honestly, it reminds me of like a fighting game where you have to go to arcade mode and like have very specific properties in order to unlock like a certain boss or something. Like if you've ever played like Street Fighter or anything like that, you have to get certain amount of perfects, and you have to you can't lose a single round or something, and then you can unlock you can fight like Akuma or depending on who it is. And so I kind of felt like it was something like this where he had to, he had to beat Soma, or he had to take first all 5 days in order to unlock the Shokugeki, which he could not. So that's off the table. However, the Shokugeki between Soma and Kuga is a different story. And I talked a lot about the Shokugeki between the two. Well, not that much, but I talked probably for about 10 minutes on my live stream, which is on my Where Tiger X channel. I'll link that in the description. So, um, that being said, I talked about Rindo, but now let's talk about Alice for a second. So, I do really like the fact that Alice is using a 3D printer because that is extremely current. Like, it's like 3D printers, like the technology of 3D printers are like on the rise right now. Like, literally right now. This year is like breakthrough central when it comes to 3D printing. So I think, and it's just now starting to really become popular. And so I think that's a really good idea for Sukada Yuto to include 3D printing into his manga, and specifically Alice, because that's her type of cooking is like the molecular stuff where she uses like really fancy machinery to get the precise stuff, and 3D printing sort of seems like in the same category with the molecular gastronomy that she uses. So I do like that. Uh, and of course Alice, I think they said they're out of the red as well. Yeah, they did. So they're obviously not going to get expelled, as we fucking knew from the beginning, but it's still fine to have confirmation. Um, of course, they used 3D printed chocolate, interestingly enough. Of course, if you watched or read Black Butler slash Kuro Hitsuji, or no, Kuro Shitsuji, that's what it was. I know it by Black Butler because I watch English. But Kuro Shitsuji or whatever, you'll know that they did something similar in that where um, somebody, I'm not gonna say who, because if you haven't watched it, whatever, threw chocolate in their curry to make it better. It's a viable method. It's actually a thing. I've known about that since I watched Black Butler. That Black Butler taught me that, but it is a viable method. I've looked it up. So um, anyway, so the fact that they did that was cool. Where the chocolate like gradually melts into the curry and like spices it up better. So with that said, let's get to the most important part of this chapter. But just before I get there, I'll say that interestingly enough, Soma is going to taste uh, Aishi's cooking, basically. Um, yeah, Aishi's right. He's going to taste Aishi's cooking because Rindo was able to um, secure a seat for for his booth, which makes sense. She's the number two Totsuki Elite 10. So anyway, interestingly enough, before I get to Erina, I will talk a little bit about Rindo because there's a lot of speculation about her being either Soma's illegitimate sister or cousin. Um, Not illegitimate cousin, but you know what I mean. Um, and I have to say, I don't buy into either. I don't buy into anything right now. Not that she's not, or not that she is. Because it seems like there's a lot of fan theory coming, like regarding Rindo. And yes, I do understand that. Say like Joichiro, if he had an illegitimate daughter before he had Soma, um, I can imagine he wouldn't tell Soma at least right away because he doesn't tell Soma shit. Like he didn't even tell him he was part of the Elite Ten in Totsuki. He just fucking sent him to Totsuki Academy without giving him the least bit of information on what the fuck it is, except it's a high class culinary school. So the fact that he doesn't say shit about anything to Soma is makes it plausible that perhaps he could hide an illegitimate sibling from Soma. Um, I don't know, but I'm not saying that she is or isn't. At this point, I'm neutral because I'm waiting for more information. Uh, but yeah, let's talk about Erina now and the fact that her fucking dad showed up. And he looks like a fucking hitman. I don't know what's going on there. I don't is he like is he working with Suna? I don't know. But but regardless, Hisako's face when she sees him is like, what the fuck is this guy doing here? And then Erina sees him and she also has a crazed look. So what does this mean for Erina and what does this mean for the series? Well, obviously the things are going to go in a dark place for her because there's going to be, a lot of past revealed with her, a lot of daddy issues and shit like that. So is that going to make her more relatable? Yeah. I expect it to. In somewhat of a cliche way, but if it works, it works. I'm keeping an open mind. Uh, he seems like I don't even know because we've only seen one panel where he says it's been a while. So meaning he hasn't seen her in a while. I think she lives with her grandfather, which obviously means she's got parent issues. Obviously, whether or not her mother's dead or what, I don't even know if we know about that or not, but we'll see. But all I know is it's gonna be crazy for Erina, and hopefully her story is actually decent because it'll make her a much more likable character. Hopefully. Uh, so, but it was interesting how I think she invited Joichiro, or tried to, because she thought maybe Joichiro had come in. Um, but nope, it was Dio. You thought it was your sugar daddy crush, but it was I, Dio. I mean, daddy. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. I'll certainly try to analyze this story as best as I can, objectively and subjectively when it comes out. But I think I don't know. I have a feeling it's gonna be sort of cliche, but I'm hoping because Suki Ryuto is so good, I'm hoping it's gonna be better than that. So that's gonna be about it, guys. Uh, Thanks, guys, for listening, and this was a very good chapter, obviously, and we'll see you guys next week.